Let's have the official call to order, the public hearing. It is now 6:35. Can I ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Please make yourself comfortable and socially distant where appropriate. We are starting with a public hearing. There are two things to discuss at the public hearing. As I said a minute ago, I put copies on the table in front of us. I'll start with the Water Pollution Control Authority amendment and any quick questions we can address, and then we'll move on. I'll turn it over to Mike Battistoni on the Charter Revision Committee report that's been approved by the Board of Selectmen. Water Pollution Control Authority is required. We have to have a Water Pollution Control Authority. State statute requires it if we are going to have a community septic at Haddam Elementary. That's the direction we were going in. The proposed wording of the amendment, the ordinance is here. Basically, it establishes the Board of Selectmen as the Water Pollution Control Authority, appoints two alternates to that board to sit in, and discusses some about the board's process. Again, it's a requirement. It will be we have to vote on it as an ordinance, which means at another town meeting. Whole purpose today was rather than give you a page and a half of a brand new ordinance on one meeting and a hearing, and then later that same day at the meeting ask you to vote on it. I wanted to get it out there so everyone could take a look at it. It's a technicality, but it's something we're going to have to do if we're going to go forward with a community septic system. So as I said, a copy is up front if anyone wants to see it. I know most of you probably haven't. It is posted on our website. Are there any questions at this point as to why we're doing this? Okay, seeing none. The other point of business at our town hearing is to discuss the report of the Charter Revision Committee, and with that, I'll turn it over to the committee chair, Mike Battistoni. Mike?
Thanks, Bob. Just very quickly, I'm going to go over the document that was sent to the Board of Selectmen and approved by them for your consideration and comment today. Just very quickly, wanted to let folks know that we did not, as a committee, take up the notion of changing the form of government to a town manager. That was most of the public comment initially. We felt that there wasn't public support for that, nor does a commission such as this necessarily kick off something like that. So we decided not to take that up off the bat. The rest of the stuff is pretty technical in nature. I'm just going to go down the page. The first change was in the table of contents. We changed the title from Director of Civil Preparedness to Director of Emergency Management, just updated to today's terms. Secondly, we moved a sentence that begins with the first selectman shall set the annual budget, which appeared in the budget section, and we moved it into section 3.4, which is more appropriate for the responsibilities of the first selectman. Next, we deleted input from the long-range capital planning committee from the budgeting process. It was just not relevant to today's budget making process, and there were going to be some changes there anyway. So we removed that reference. There were two of the next sections had to do with section 8.14, which is the role of the selectmen in the hiring process, hiring, firing, setting salaries and things of that nature. The first change that we made was that the Board of Selectmen may delegate the first selectman to do the essentially collective bargaining and negotiations for the town. So that change allowed, again, the Board of Selectmen to have the power to delegate to the first selectman in that matter. So that was the first thing. The second was that the Board of Selectmen, it gives them the power to establish wages, salaries, job descriptions, working hours for all town employees, and this is the change, except when the terms and conditions of the town employee are governed by a collective bargaining agreement and the town's obligations under applicable law. So we were missing that part. Obviously, if there is a collective bargaining agreement, that is dictated by that, right, and not the Board of Selectmen. Two more here. One was just a confirmation based on public comment. In section 9.4, we use a percentage of the town budget as a change for when a town meeting has to take place. There was an open question of whether that had to be a number or a percent. We did not make any change here, but we just confirmed with the town lawyers that it was okay under Connecticut statutes to leave that as a percentage. So there was no change there, but there was some public comment about that initially. And the last change was the Board of Selectmen asked for more latitude in intra-agency transfers of budgets. In the last charter revision, we made it $1,000. So in other words, if you had to go over $1,000 to change an intra-department transfers, meaning your own budget, but two different line items, it had to go to town meeting, right?
Right.
Yep. And we made the change.
Had to be Board of Finance approval.
Sorry, Board of Finance, yep. We made that change changed the $1,000 to $3,000. So to give them a little bit more latitude and not have to go back to the Board of Selectmen on the lower dollar ones. And that was it.
Okay. I'll have a couple of comments and I'll open it for questions. On the Long Range Capital Planning Committee, I just want to make it clear the Long Range Capital Planning Committee is established by a town ordinance. To eliminate the committee would require a town meeting. But the Long Range Capital Planning Committee is also mentioned once in the charter. So technically, if we decided to change the role of the Long Range Capital Planning Committee or to eliminate it, again, either which would require a town meeting to vote on and approve, then we'd also have to do another charter revision. By taking it out of the charter, we're not changing anything in its function or role right now. We're just making it easier to streamline if we might want to make any changes to it. And we are looking at trying to revise our budgeting process to make it more streamlined. Okay, does anyone, I'll open the floor, any questions on the proposal? All right, again, there are copies up here, there's copies on our website, please take a look at them. We will be voting on the charter revisions as part of the November presidential election. There'll be a question on that ballot. So you have plenty of time to look at it, you have plenty of time to ask questions. If there's enough interest, we can have other presentations on what the proposed changes are. All right. Anything else, Mike?
Nope. Thank you very much. Thank you, committee.
All right, everybody, I'd like to add my thanks to the committee for their work they've done over the last year, making the final tweaks as requested by the Board of Selectmen. I'd like to thank the members of the board for working as well to get the proposals in. And with that, it is now 6:45. Our town meeting can't officially start until 7 o'clock. So I'm going to call a close to the town hearing. We have about 15 minutes where we open for the town meeting. Town meeting covers a vote for a seat on the Board of Education and also a vote, yes or no, on reappointing our current 4 members to the HK Park and Rec Authority. All right, everyone, thank you. We've got about 15 minutes to kill and then we will reassemble. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I have the time now at 7:04. I'd like to call the town meeting to order. First business is please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first order of business at a town meeting is we have to elect a moderator. Can I have nominations from the floor for a moderator?
I nominate Bill Bowles.
All right, Second by Pablo. Chip Frey. All right, all in favor of Mr. Bowles being the moderator signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. All right, by unanimous vote, Bill, you are the moderator. I will turn over the activities to you. Thank you for serving.
Good evening. And can you all hear me? Okay, good. All right. We're here for two reasons. One is to accept nominations and to elect or appoint members of the Haddam-Killingworth Recreation Commission. So, however, I think you have to read the call to the meeting, don't you?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, let's read the call to the meeting. Scott?
Legal notice, special town meeting, Town of Haddam. All electors and citizens qualified to vote at town meetings of the Town of Haddam, Connecticut are hereby warned and notified that there will be a special town meeting on July 27th, 2020 at 7 p.m. at Haddam-Killingworth High School Auditorium, 95 Little City Road, Higginham, Connecticut, 06441 for the following purposes. 1, to elect a moderator. 2, to appoint the Haddam-Killingworth Recreation Authority, HK Rec Authority, for the fiscal year 2020-2021. Jason Lonergan, Jennifer O'Neill, Peter Christopher, and David Law. 3, to fill the vacancy for a board member of Regional District Number 17, Board of Education. Dated in Haddam, Connecticut, the 16th day of July, 2020, Board of Selectmen, Robert McGarry, Kate Anderson, and Sean Moriarty.
May I have a motion to accept the call to the meeting? And is there a second, please? Sean Moriarty. Thank you. Thanks, Scott. All right, so let's consider the first item. Good point. I'm being talked through this, as you can tell. We need a vote on the motion to accept the call of the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, it carries. Now, let's consider the appointment of Jason Lonergan, Jennifer O'Neill, Peter Christopher, and David Law as our representatives to the Haddam-Killingworth Recreation Commission. They would be serving from July 1 of this year through June 30th of next year. May I have a motion to place their names in nomination? A second, please. All in favor? Any additional nominations? Having served on the commission, that's probably good that there isn't additional nominations. It's not an easy job. All right, so all in favor of these 4 individuals serving for the next 4 years? Signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Oh, that carries, Mr.
We're going to need a show of hands because we're taking votes outside, too.
Okay. May we have a show of hands, please? Keep your hands up so they can be counted.
All right, I have 26 in favor.
Are there any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we need to consider a new member for the Board of Education. And I will open the floor up to nominations. Sean, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Is there a second? Are there any other nominations? And there's a second. Any other nominations? May I have a motion to close nominations? May I have a second, please? All in favor to close nominations? Any opposed? Okay, so we have two candidates.
People outside now, they can
All right. Yeah, we have the drive-through voting. That's a good idea. How is this working?
I'm probably the wrong speaker, but there's a, oh, good. You're on your way. You probably can explain it much better than I can.
All right, the process we're using for a vote, we're going to vote in here by a ballot. You'll come up, show some acceptable form of identification to Sarah, who's a registrar, so she knows what you can look at for that. There's paper up here, pens, indicate on there which of the two candidates you want, and leave the ballots with it, bring the ballots up and leave them with them. Just yes,
Well,
if you can't spell, then you shouldn't be voting for Board of Ed people. Outside, just so everyone knows what's happening there, we're doing the same vote. People are showing an ID from their card, so they don't have to get out of the car and worry about the pandemic precautions. At the registrar to Ray, they will move to the next table where there's a representative from each of the political parties. They will hold, the people in the car will hold up a piece of paper with for whom they're voting and then yes, no on the park and rec appointments. Okay, any questions before we go ahead? All right, Mr. Moderator, I'll turn it over to you again. Thank you.
well, are we going to distribute the ballots? Or are people just going to line up?
Have people come up to the table and get a ballot.
All right,
Oh, yes, thank you.
okay. Would either of the candidates like to speak? Prem, Katie? The floor, if you'd like to speak, please come on up. Can you, I don't think people can hear.
Up here, Katie.
There's a microphone right there.
This on? Hello. So just briefly, some of you know me, some of you may not. I'm Katie Pachter. I ran actually on the Democratic ticket for the Board of Ed in the fall, was the next number of votes according to the town of Haddam. It was a tough race. There's a lot of interest right now in everything going on the Board of Education, and even more so now, given the pandemic and what we're wading our way through for the kids this fall. I am super motivated, very interested in being there for both the schools, the kids, but also like how that fits in with our town and all of the workings in that cooperation. You guys have an easy vote tonight, really. I mean, Prem's a great guy, so I think we're in good shape. I would respectfully ask for your vote, and just let you know that I'm dedicated to the future of our town and our kids. Thanks.
Thank you, Katie. Prem?
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Prem Eitel. I married into this town in 2010. And I'm married to Becky, who is a kindergarten teacher at RSD 17, and my daughter is in the district. She's 7. First off, I wanted to thank Town of Haddam, the volunteers, for putting this together so quickly and so safely to allow the flexibility and options. I'm currently vice chair of the, I'm currently vice chair of the EDC. You know, we've brought a very vibrant farmers market to the Higginham Center, which is going well thanks to the vision of our market master, Christy Benson. She's awesome. I'm also serving as an alternate on the Board of Finance, and we've attended many joint meetings with the Board of Ed, but I've also attended some meetings individually as well, so that I could best prepare for this opportunity. In terms of my professional qualifications, I work at Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. I'm a finance director in financial strategy, long-term planning. I think that would be very beneficial to this town, especially during a pandemic. The individual segment is very evolving, changes because of legal, regulatory, and political changes on a drop of a dime. And so flexibility here, especially during a pandemic, is going to be crucial because the educational strategies may change on the drop of a dime. But most importantly, I think the safety of our kids, our parents, our administrators and staff, as well as ultimately our residents is paramount right now. So, you know, I believe with my background, you know, the Board of Ed would benefit from my long-term planning skills and tying strategies to financials. And I hope for your vote, and I thank my fellow nominee, Katie, for volunteering to run as well. She's a great candidate as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Prem. All right, I think we're ready to vote. So if everyone would please come forward, and please have your identification ready for the registrar. And the meeting stays open while we're voting and also while the drive-in voting goes on. So we'll be here for a little while. The meeting has remained open while voting has taken place. Dave Challenger, do you have the results of the vote? Can you read them into the microphone over there behind you? First of all, how did we do with the Haddam-Killingworth Recreation Authority?
So the Haddam-Killingworth Rec Authority voted 77 yes and 6 no.
Okay.
That's just the outside. I don't know what you had inside. We didn't.
26 yes, no no's.
So there were a total of 77 plus 26. That's 103.
Correct.
And 6 no's. Got that? Okay. All right. What about our Board of Education election?
For the Board of Education, this is a total, includes inside and outside. Prem Athol, 67. Katie Pachter, 63.
Oh my God.
Very close.
Very close. 2 good candidates, that's why.
Right.
All right, so 67 for Prem and 63 for Katie. Were there any other votes for anybody? Alfred E. Newman, no, nobody like that? No, okay. All right. The vote has taken place. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Brenda Buzzy moves to adjourn. Jeff Ogilvy seconds. All in favor? Good night, all.